Hey everybody, this is Keybridge Hobby Network. Today I'm going to share with you some basic must-have upgrades for the TRAXXAS Xmaxx that won't break your wallet. Here we go. Okay, just real quickly, the upgrades that I have made on my Xmaxx is things that needed to be upgraded based on my experience and a buddy of mine that parts that had broke on us in the field. So we experienced this firsthand, and I have a list. I'm trying to do this video under 5 minutes, so here we go. So real quickly, the first thing that I had replaced is the rear hub carriers. A buddy of mine just got his Xmaxx. It was cold. It was 30 degrees outside, and I'm telling you, not even 5 minutes. It was a tumble, and there you go. Rear hub carrier, it was broke, snapped. So when I got my Xmaxx, that is one of the first things that I replaced. Quick note on that: if you do decide to get the RPM rear hub carriers, the bearings on these things, it says right here, I'm going to read it to you. It is shipped with a light rust preventative oil not suitable for proper lubrication of the bearing. Carefully remove one of the shields and apply a thin coat of your favorite wheel bearing lubricant before use. Now, I had made a mistake and I put mine back together, and then when I was cleaning up, I saw that piece of paper and I was like, what? This is the first. I've never bought anything, a wheel bearing or any kit that didn't have lubrication. So that is a first, but no big deal. Just keep that in mind. I used a full synthetic wheel bearing grease for cars. I think mine was Valvoline. I had that laying around, so I was able to do that. And I used the X-Acto knife, a hobby knife, to slowly and carefully pry off that seal. That's the important thing. You gotta be careful to not damage the seal when you're prying that thing off. All right, just keep that in mind. The RPM rear hub carriers, the bearing that comes with it needs to be lubricated before you run it, or before use. The next thing, so our first batch session is almost the end of the day. Took a jump, landed, and then it looked like the control arm broke. So after inspection, the control arms was not really broken. The knuckle wasn't broken. The hinge pin seemed to have backed out on me or snapped. It was gone. So that was my second upgrade, is that I went and got the RPM hinge pins. How the hinge pins work is that it's got a locking nut on the other side, so it locks it in place. That was my second upgrade, and the only thing is that you have to drill. You got to bore out the hole, the control arm hole, to make it a little bit bigger, and that's it. It's an easy install. And the next thing that I did was what else did I did? The RPM shock guards. I noticed on our first batch session that the rear shock seems to get a lot of debris. It gets hit with a lot of debris from the front tires. So I went and got a set of RPM shock guards, and then I found out that then I found out that T-Bone actually makes lower control arm skid guards that comes with a guard for the shocks. So I went and got the T-Bone Racing ones, but apparently right now they're hard to get. I was able to get the rear, but right now it's been about 3 weeks. I'm still waiting for them to come back in stock from T-Bone Racing. I'm still waiting. It's been 3 weeks. I'm still waiting. So right now I have a truck that's got a rear control arm skid guards, but I don't have a matching one in the front. But what I did was I went ahead and put the RPM shock guards in the front anyway, because I explained why. It's important to have shock guards because depending on where you run, we sometimes run on rocky areas. So if you're following another Xmaxx, the rocks that Xmaxx is throwing from the tires could hit your shocks. So it's good to have protection, and that's how I did it. So RPM shock guards or T-Bone Racing lower control arm skid plates. That's one thing a good thing to have or look into. I like the T-Bone Racing one because at the same time that it protects your shocks, it also protects the lower control arms from gouges and scratches. I noticed that the lower control arm of these things gets pretty beat up, especially the rear. Next thing, this is all the other stuff that I have here is for the body. The body is also the other weakest link on this truck. It takes a lot of beating. So what I did was, first thing I did, the RPM roof skid rails is good to have, especially if you drive on pavement. If you flip over and slide on the roof, it helps protect the roof. That's good to have. I have that. The RPM body savers is also important to have to keep that the mounting areas sturdy. I have a video of how I reinforce the body, and I have that link on the bottom to show you all how I've done my body to keep it more durable. So reinforcing the body is also important. And the last but not least, this one is not cheap, but is one of the important ones to have as an upgrade for the Xmaxx, is the Servo. I have my Xmaxx for about 3 months, and I'm sure it's got less than 5 hours of runtime. Servo gave out on me, so keep that in mind. Servo, you can get the TRAXXAS brand, or you can get a side box, but keep in mind, depending on the size of the servo you get, you might need an adapter. So keep that in mind also. So those are the main upgrades that I have done. Those just basic upgrades to my Xmaxx. That really not that expensive. They won't break the bank. So first thing, let's go through it real quickly. RPM rear hub carriers. Don't forget to lubricate the bearings. RPM hinge pins. RPM shock guards. RPM roof skid rails. RPM body savers. Servo. And T-Bone Racing lower control arm skid plates, if you could get them. So those are just the basic upgrades that I've done to my Xmaxx to keep it to increase, I would say, increases durability. I tell you, this truck is pretty durable based on its size. I've had many crashes and tumbles, you know, but yeah, but that's it. So until next time, I have all. By the way, I have all the important links on the bottom, helpful links in I'll see you guys later.